No smoking, if you don't mind. Except in the case of expectant fathers who shouldn't be here in the first place.
As soon as you're enjoying your bleeding self. Subject normal.
Now, if you cast your minds back a few months, you may have fond memories of filling these in. Your completed application forms, T-rings and all. So just sing out when I call your names. And I can put a face to each of you. Walters, Kennington Oval.
Here.
If any of you wishes to call me sir, I shall try not to be offended. Staveley, Dulwich.
Yes, sir.
Constantine, Notting Hill.
Yes, sir.
O'Reilly, Kilburn.
Here, sir.
Campion, Kentish Town.
Here, sir.
Matthew, Stepney.
Sir.
Weller, Gunnersbury Park.
Present and correct.
Margolis, Kingsbury.
Yes, sir.
James Clapham.
Yes, sir.
Osborne, Pelham.
Sir.
Terrific. You all know your own names. My living shall not be in vain. Now, my name is Mr. Burgess. No applause, please. And this little chat is known as your acceptance interview, which means that you are now, starting today, officially on the knowledge, which, by a remarkable twist of logic, brings us to question number 1. Namely, what exactly is the knowledge?
Well, all it is really is boning up in your head all the macaroni about...
Thank you, Mr. Weller. That was known as a rhetorical question. I know what the knowledge is. In other words, I tell you. In other words, you keep your mouth shut and listen. You might learn something. Namely, what exactly is the knowledge? As laid down by the London Hackney Carriage Act of 1843, all the knowledge means is that you commit to memory every street within a 6-mile radius of Charing Cross. Every street and what's on every street. Every hotel, every club, every hospital, every department store, every shop, government building, theatre, cinema, restaurant, park, art gallery, church, synagogue, mosque, etc., 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 and etc. Every building or amenity in public use, you name it, you've got to know it. Now, this is your Bible. It is called the Blue Book. Probably why it's coloured pink. Now, don't ask me why pink is called blue. Bit like life, in a way. On page number 1, you will find a list, what we call a page, of routes which we call runs. Now, run number 1, page number 1 is Manor House Station to Gibson Square. Manor House is the starting point, Gibson Square is the finishing point. Not that anybody has ever wanted to go from Manor House to Gibson Square, but you have to know how to. So far, piece of pudding. Except for one little thing. There's not one page, there's 26. Not one run on each page is 18. So that's 468 runs altogether. Which means that the amount of macaroni you have to bone up in your head, Mr. Weller, is a grand total of approximately 15,842 streets and the few thousand buildings on those streets. By heart. Now, don't blame me. Knowledge goes back 350 years, slightly before my time. It was started by decree of the Lord Protector, one Oliver Cromwell.
Trust that bastard to have something to do with this.
If you think you can master the knowledge, sat in your own front parlour with your blue book in one hand and your girlfriend in the other, accepting your presence, Miss Staveley, watching Liverpool win 1-0 in the last 3 seconds of match of the day, thank you, good night, and God bless, because you can't. There are knowledge schools that will guide you. But the only way to learn the knowledge is by climbing onto your bike and doing the sod. Every single street of it. There is no other way. And I'll tell you a little secret. 7 out of the 10 of you sitting here today will never make it. Everybody happy? Now, just in case you're all having too good a time, one last thought. On page 2 of your forms, you answer the following 2 questions, which are deliberately in heavy black type. 11A. Have you ever been convicted of any offence or been bound over? 11B. Are you the subject of any outstanding charge or summons? All of you answered no. All of you told the truth. Because we've checked, as we always continue to do, right through your career as a cabbie. If you ever have one, that is. So, if your hobby is mugging old ladies, or driving a vehicle with a gallon of martinis inside you and a cherry on your head, go into politics, not cab driving. Because one conviction ever, you're back in the bus queue. Right. Now, the knowledge sounds impossible. It isn't. Otherwise, there'd be no such phenomenon as the London cabbie. It is true that no taxi driver in no other city, in no other country in the world has to know a fraction of what you have to know. Not many brain surgeons either. But there we are. That's how we built an empire. And, no doubt, how we knock the bleeder down again. We live, we learn. What we, in our ignorance, call knowledge. Now, the next
What the hell was I letting myself in for?
Now take these back to the young lady at the appointments window. She will book your first appointment, which means your first test. So it isn't called an appointment. Come to that, it isn't called a test either. It's called an appearance. Funny old world we live in. Now that first appearance will be in 56 days' time. Your next one 56 days after that, and so on. Eventually, if you're still with us. It will be every 28 days, finally every 14. How long it takes you before you get your license and your pretty green badge is up to you. And, no doubt, God. If you're a genius, it might take a year. On the other hand, it might take 2, or 7, or 10. If it looks as if it's taking longer than that, I should pack it in and have a go at ballet dancing. Any questions? In that case, thank you and good luck. Mr. Weller. You didn't quite tell the truth, did you? You're not averse, I noticed, to standing on your accelerator.
Sorry.
November 18, 1966, Brixton Road, 45 miles per hour.
1966? I wasn't even bloody born.
I told you we'd check. Watch it. Yes, Mr. Margolis?
I just wanted to say how... Well, my father's a cabbie sort of thing. And his father before him, and the wife's like, and 2 of my brothers. And how, you know, well, being in the blood, really, I expect... I feel I'm already... Well, not already. Anyway, they all wish to be remembered to you. Well, not my granddad, of course. And to pass on their very best wishes.
Mr. Margolis, passing the knowledge is different from everything else in the world. It's unique. It's not who you know, it's what you know. Know what I mean?